All right guys, welcome back. In my last video, we made an upright vertical clamping station to my workbench using the micro jig match fit system. And today, we're gonna go ahead and make a jointing sled. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time because I do not have a large jointer, but we know that we can use our table saw, but you can't just push it along the fence or you're gonna be all out of square. So today, we're gonna build a sled that goes right through the table saw to get a good fresh edge on one side. That way we can flip it and do all of our cuts from there. So today, we're getting square. It's gonna be a quick one. Let's get started. Now to determine the length of the sled, I'm gonna go just slightly shorter than the table saw fence. When choosing the width, I figured the biggest board I'm going to use is probably 14 inches wide, so I don't mind a 4-inch hangover on the board, so we're going to go with 10 inches. Now I can use my offcut and make another sled at 8 inches wide. To make our channels, we are going to use the micro jig match fit system. The first bit is a 1/4 inch relief bit. There is a line on the bits where you know exactly how deep to put it on the collet. And while we're at it, I just have to compliment this Jessam router lift. It's absolutely wonderful. Since we are doing an undercut with nowhere for the dust and debris to go, I'm going to get a wider throat so that my vacuum can pull all of the dust and debris through the channel. To make the vertical channels, I'm going to measure out 2 inches on center and do a straight guide that the wood will ride along to make the channel. The key here is to keep equal pressure down and against the fence all the way through the cut. We'll make our first cut, flip the board, and make our second cut. After we complete the relief pass, we're going to change out the router bit to a 1/4 inch dovetail bit. Since we still have our fence set, all we have to do is make another pass with a dovetail bit. To find the first horizontal channel, we're going to measure 4 inches on center. We will complete one pass, then flip the board and do the other side. Having the Formica top on the workbench makes it so much easier to slide against the fence. To create our next channel, we are going to go 8 inches on center. Our next channel will be 12 inches on center. To find our last channel, we are going to measure the board and find exact middle to do one pass. Now I'm doing a quick hand sanding to clean up the channels. I did a few quick passes of the sander as well as rounding over the channels. Now I'm using my vertical clamping station to round over the edges. All right, now we have two sleds made. They're both 34 inches long. One is 8 inches wide and one is 10 inches wide. Now I made them slightly different because I know the boards that I put on are gonna be different and I may need more clamping space. So I think the majority of the boards are gonna go on the 8-inch sled, but I've got some really big pieces, 14, 16 inches. I'm probably gonna have to use this 10-inch sled. I had enough plywood, so why not make both of them? The process was exactly the same. Now I started with my vertical pieces. They are 2 inches on center from the edge. So I just had to measure one time, make the cut, flip it over. Do the same thing for both boards. And then to make my horizontal, I've got 4 inches on center from the edge. So 4, 8, 12. And then I split the middle. And all I had to do was keep reversing the board all the way down except for the middle. And the match fit system was fantastic. You start with a 1/4 inch bit, and that's gonna hog out the material. Then you're gonna use your dovetail bit, and that's what's gonna give the profile to run your clamps through, which worked out fantastic. Okay, now we've got the sleds made, but we probably need to go ahead and test this so that you know that I made it correct. Now, I've got a piece of cedar here. This is a really good 2x4, all rough cut, I guess, but there's no straight edge or there's no square edge on this board. So what I would like to do is use my sled, and I need to go ahead and make a full cut on this side to square it up. Then I can take the sled off, turn it over and run it against the table saw fence, and I'll have 2 sides square, or basically 2S lumber at that point. So let's head to the table saw, let's check it out. All right, the test worked out phenomenally. I was able to clamp it down and run this piece of board, or this side of the board, through the table saw. So I was able just to line it up. I was able to clamp it down and run it through the table saw. So this side stayed against the fence, and the clamps actually work as push sticks. So that was really, really cool. I was able to keep good, consistent pressure all the way across. And then once you run it through, we're able to take it out of the jig. Okay, so this side worked great. Flip it over against the table saw fence, and then make your cut that way. And now you've got a 2S milled piece of lumber. Fantastic. Theoretically, you could also do the face side if you needed to. But I do have the planer for that. I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm super excited I'm able to mill lumber without having to use my jointer, because it really isn't the best. It's just a bench top and it's not that consistent. I think this is gonna work out much faster, much easier. All I gotta do is get the sled and run it through. So from a time to cut or time to set up to cut is super fast. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. It was a nice, easy one, as long as you have the clamps, the dovetail clamps from Micro Jig. I'll put all the links in the description, but what a cool build. I'm super excited to be able to mill some lumber for some projects. Hopefully you stay tuned in to next time. Have a great day.